What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about keeping a guy's interest and first date tips. Before I start this video, to all my YBS Y Sisterhood members, I will be going live this weekend, so stay tuned for your email to make sure that you know when and where that is. If you haven't joined, there are extra videos, extra live uploads. Y'all should go check it out. For those of you who have joined, I appreciate you. Now let me get into this topic. Now listen, I know it could be a while for a lot of y'all get a first date with this quarantine in effect, but we all still need something to look forward to. Somebody asked me this question recently, and I thought it would be a fun one considering we're all using our imaginations at this point. So with that said, I'm going to dig into this question. Anonymous writes, how to keep a guy's interest during the first date. I'm horrible on dates. Can't think of anything to ask or say usually, and I think I come off boring. I also get so nervous before dates that I feel sick. To be quite honest, there's no magic answer for the nervousness you feel, but there are some techniques to have better, more fluid conversations to make yourself feel a lot more confident during the interaction. Now, I'm going to answer this question, but I also want to stress, he's supposed to be keeping your interest as well during this date. Don't forget that. Now, with that said, in the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, a point is made about impressing strangers. The easiest way to nurture a good experience for them is to show genuine interest and get them talking about themselves. That's because people usually love to talk about themselves. Ask a guy about a few of his favorite things or try to find his passions. Once you find that thing that he cares about, dig for more information and ask a lot of questions. And how do you know if it's his passion, you might ask? Well, people usually become a lot more fluid and a lot more animated when talking about the things that they're passionate about. They light up because of the confidence and the excitement they feel around the subject. Instead of you trying to start the conversation, getting them talking does three things very well. Number one, it validates them to talk about that which they know the most about, feeding and nurturing their needs to feel important. Because just think about it, people always feel kind of important when telling an interested party about the things that they're more educated on. Number two, it makes them feel like you're easy to talk to as long as you do nothing and stay engaged. And number three, it takes the pressure off of you to fill all the time with your words alone. So with that said, when it's your turn to talk or they turn the questions around, speak about those things that you love the most or know the most about. That's because you can't be nervous and passionate at the same time. And luckily for you, most people can't tell the difference between a person just being confident about the subject matter of a conversation or them being confident in general. So if you want to be seen as confident and actually feel that confidence, always speak about the things that you know the most about and love on dates. Now, a good way to start this up is to say something like, okay, let's play a game. What are your three favorite things, or what are three things that you are most passionate about? This is usually pretty well received. People most of the time love games because they're considered fun and flirty. It's the perfect vibe for a first date. In fact, just saying the word game can sometimes make a date more interesting. So anyway, once he answers your question, pick one of those three things that he mentioned and ask more questions about it. Dig into it a little bit. Tell him to elaborate on specific things to get him participating in this date. If the game thing intimidates you, just ask the questions outright. You could also ask about the things that they maybe dislike the most and give them a chance to rant a little bit. Maybe after you could share your dislikes or the things that you hate the most. I've started dates where we played honesty games about what was wrong with us. Sometimes breaking the ice is as easy as getting the uncomfortable stuff out of the way quickly. Again, anything framed around being a game is probably going to be received better than any outright question that may be uncomfortable for someone. Anyway, once they're done talking, be prepared to answer these questions yourself. And at some point, once you've warmed up, you'll forget all about your nerves and just talk. Let the convo flow into other places. That happens naturally. Stop worrying so much about if you're being interesting and just try to have a fluid conversation. And once those subject matters dry up, go back to the list of passions. Choose the second of three, and so on. A lot of times, a conversation as simple as why he likes basketball can turn into a stress management and a meditation conversation. You can get valuable information from him about the type of stress he has to manage day to day. and why basketball is the thing that does it for him. That could turn into an exchange about shedding negative energy or the value of doing the things we love. And while we're on it, speaking of what we love in life, if you could wake up tomorrow and do anything in the world, what's your dream job? That can turn into a goals and ambition talk and so on. There's always another angle or a deeper idea. If a guy refuses to expound or elaborate on any of his ideas, then he's just being a shitty conversationalist, and it's not you that's being boring, it's him. Getting a man to talk on a date shouldn't feel like a challenge. Now, a lot of y'all like to date these men that are mysterious or aloof. It excites you to wonder about the contents of his mind. I get it. But keep in mind, some men are complex, layered, or mysterious, or aloof, and that's why they don't talk much. And then there are others who are just too damn basic and lazy to have a good conversation or try. Maybe they're just too uninterested. I hate how some women worry about being entertaining even in the absence of being entertained. And too many of y'all are texting all the way to the first date. It makes for very awkward encounters, especially for those of you who are a little shy the first time you meet someone. And it makes sense because you haven't even learned how to chat with them. You haven't even gotten a measure of their conversational vibe or energy. You're trying to figure all that out with the pressure on and with your nerves getting the best of you. The first date should not be the first time that you hear a person's voice or get familiar with their speech cadence. And while I'm on it, this date first call never is one of the reasons why things get so casual so quickly for so many of you. There are no barriers in place for a man to access you and request your presence. I used to have a rule that I wouldn't take any woman out who had previously been unavailable to speak to verbally on the phone before the date. I made that mistake once and it was the worst date of my life. And I've had some shitty dates. I've done a lot of blind dating. I've been catfished twice. I know about a bad date. I say all that to say, keeping a man's interest is easy enough when he's genuinely interested in having a good date as well. If it's not going well, it's not all your fault. There are two people on this date that's supposed to be entertaining and engaging with each other. And as a woman, quite frankly, I don't believe you should have to lead everything in the first date anyway. Hopefully you're on the first date because he asked you to be on that first date. It's not like you asked him. But with that in mind, guys do get nervous sometimes too, so these tips can help you get him to open up a little bit. But like I said, a guy should already be interested in having a good time and getting to know you if he asked you on a date in the first place. He should have requested you just to entertain him. So in closing, to stay confident, talk about the things you love, give them the opportunity to talk about the things they love first. Wear something that makes you feel comfortable, show up and be ready to go Dutch on that first conversation. I hope this helps. It's not that damn serious though. The first time you meet somebody, it's going to be a little bit awkward, but as long as you give them the opportunity to talk about themselves and they're ready to listen to you talk about yourself a little bit, you should be fine. Follow me at KidFig24 on Instagram.com. I'll get with y'all later.